everyone. Today, my full name is Musaevaning and today I'm going to conduct my demo lesson. So, before I start my lesson, I would like to start it with one warming up activity. I have cards here with methods, and I will give you this message, and you should explain it without naming it, and others should guess which method is it. This one is for you. So, who will start?
Okay, may I start?
Yes.
So this method is based on teacher-centered lessons, and because you can see it can the teacher's speech or teacher's activeness. And for example, teacher may use also some writing styles and some reading styles easy for the speaking or listening ones. Can you guess? What method is it? Teacher-centered lessons. Yes,
Yes.
the grammar translation method. Yes,
Exactly.
excellent.
So, who will be the next?
May I?
Yes.
Okay, this is a kind of method which we can use while teaching, especially the target language. And it's also called the army method. And we use it especially in the higher education establishments for the students. We use the language to language without translation. Army method, which is for example,
Which
yes,
method is
it's a
it?
time during we use that you can make some mistakes or something, right?
During the voice.
What?
Audiolingual.
No, it's not audiolingual. It's not direct. It's not direct. It's direct.
It's direct
Direct.
Yes. So, who will be the next?
This method is mostly based on by listening. So, and most students, even the teachers, prefer such kind of method based on listening.
Just doing method.
So, the next one, who will?
This method is considered to be the most modern one. And in my
Yeah, continue, please.
in my point of view, it's the most effective
Uh-huh.
method nowadays, and it is based on mostly in communication.
And it's
And yes, she was right.
So, and the last one?
So the last one, in this method, students learn by completing tasks, doing some project works, or doing some role plays. So, what is the most advantage of this method is it's more practical and engaging, but there is also disadvantage because it's really time consuming.
Ja.
Yes.
EPR maybe?
Yes. So,
That project week, yeah?
uh-huh. So, as most of you have guessed, our today's topic is methods of teaching foreign languages. So, it's one of the most exciting and interesting topics in education. As future teachers, knowing these methods, it will be really helpful for them to choose appropriate one for their students. So, language teaching is changed over time, and previously, people only used to learn language by only memorizing and translating it. But later, they used to, by a new series, they brought more focus on communication, practice and interaction between the students. So let's start with the oldest one. What do you say? Which one is the oldest method? Grammar translation method. So, grammar translation method is one of the most traditional methods. In this method, students learn the only grammar rules, memorize vocabulary, and translate text from target language into the native language. For example, if the teacher gives a sentence in English, let's take the sentence, for example, the boy is reading a book, and ask them to translate it into their native language, for example, like Uzbek and Russian. So, this method had both advantages and disadvantages. So, the good side of this method is that it develops accuracy and reading skills of the students. But the negative side of this method is all students rarely practice their speaking skills, so they may be perfectly know the rules, grammar rules, but cannot hold a real life communication. So next one. Next comes the direct method. This method bans translation completely. In this method, teachers only use the target language. For example, if we, in the process of explaining the topic, if the teacher they are learning a word apple, for example, teachers should show a real apple or like a picture of this, not by translating the word. So this method, advantage of this method is that it improves speaking and listening skills perfectly, but this method requires only a qualified and skilled teachers because it's really difficult for some to keep the conversation only in their target language. So, the next method, it's the audiolingual method. So it's became popular in the middle of 20th century. It's as you have mentioned before. This method is only concentrated on repetition. For example, if the teacher says, "I am eating," he is eating, you are eating, students should repeat many times after the teacher until it becomes automatic. So the advantage of this method is that it really improves their pronunciation and quick response. But the disadvantage is that it can be really boring for students. They will be like training a robot. Next approach is the communicative approach. So communicative approach is one of the most popular approaches these days. So here's the main idea is language for communication. So in this method, students do role plays, discussions, or problem solving activities. For example, let's take an example like students might simulate ordering something in a restaurant. One plays a waiter and the next one is the customer. So advantage of this method is that it's really motivating and practical and interacting. And the drawback is that sometimes students fall grammar accuracy is ignored in this method. But overall, it's really perfect for their to develop their fluency. So, and our last approach is the task-based learning. So, in this method, students learn language by doing some tasks, for example, like making a posters or presentations, PPT presentations, or like even a dialogues between the students. So in this method, the focus of the students is not only on grammar, but also achieving results in their target language. So the advantage of this method is that it really develops their teamwork and critical thinking of the students. But the drawback is that it requires really careful planning and preparation from the teacher. So now I have matching activities. You should match the method with its meaning. Yes, please.
The grammar translation. It builds accuracy and metodika
Right? Yes. So next one, direct method.
Good for speaking, but need skilled teachers.
Others.
And
Spells pronunciation.
Direct translation of the demand preparation.
Good for speaking, but need skilled teachers.
Yes.
Next
Next one,
Multilingual
audio Yes.
yes, audio-lingual method helps pronunciation
and communicative. Excellent for fluency, but sometimes
And the last one,
practical, creative, but demands information.
yes. Grammar translation builds accuracy but weak in speaking. Direct method, good for speaking but needs skilled teachers. Audiolingual helps pronunciation but mechanical. Communicative, excellent for fluency but sometimes weak in grammar. And task-based, practical and creative but demands preparation. So, as we have seen that all these methods have both advantages and disadvantages. So, to conclude, we know that there is no one single perfect method. Each method is, as we have mentioned, has its own advantages and disadvantages, and if the teachers combine different methods depending on their student needs, it will be really effective for them. So, now, to consolidate our topic, I have some activities. I have here the sentences, 20 sentences, and you should guess the method and read first the sentences and guess which method it describes. Very much. So, are you ready? So let's start. First one, it motivates students because it feels like real communication. Which method is it? Next one, translation of text is the main exercise here. Grammar translation method, yes. Third one, teachers must carefully prepare tasks to make them effective. Yes, task-based learning. So next, it creates an immersion effect in the target language. So next one, in this method, the native language is not allowed. Direct method. Role plays, dialogues, and discussions are often used in this class. Yes, task-based. So the main focus is on speaking and listening. Mhm. Students can translate accurately but struggle in real life speaking. Yes. For example, planning a trip or organizing an event is yes. It's like teachers gives tasks like planning a trip or organizing an event. So next one, repetition of sentences is the main exercise. It develops reading and writing, but gives little speaking practice.
Little speaking practice.
Yes. So it develops critical thinking and teamwork skills.
That's great.
Yes, that's based. So the main goal of this method is communication. Yes. Teachers explain new words using pictures, objects, and gestures. No. Direct method, yes. Fluency is more important than grammar accuracy. Yes. So this method focuses on grammar rules and vocabulary. Yes. In this method, students can complete meaningful real-life tasks. Task-based. Yes. This method is based on behaviorist psychology. No. It's the method I have explained. Methods I have explained.
You have mentioned it.
No.
They change the shape of the sitting box.
It's direct.
Direct?
Yes. So it helps students develop correct pronunciation and quick responses. No. Audio lingual. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and the last one, dialects and drills are the core techniques. So, now I will divide you into two groups. First, the task of I will give you one method for each group, and each group should explain the advantages and disadvantages of this method. So for the first group, this which method will you choose? Maybe grammar translation method.
Is it individual task or?
No, group board.
You will be one group.
Your one group and
I will leave her.
your
She
method,
can manage. Grammar translation.
grammar translation method, you should explain, tell the advantages and disadvantages of this method. And your,
Sales
You can manage.
I think so.
as it's versus.
No, two of you, serial money, and two of you, which method will you choose? Maybe direct or task based? So you have 2 minutes.
About pros and cons of sales, right? Okay.
Are you ready?
Why not?
Okay, let's start then.
So first of all, I'd like to speak about pros of CLT method. It is one of the new methods that demands in our today's society, where grammar is completely forgotten about in every kind of sphere of teaching. In this method, class sizes are more than mindset, I guess. One of them is it is considered to be a student-centered method,
Yes.
and students are involved in speaking, and they have to speak more than a teacher. The role of the teacher here is just to direct, to control them, to give them different kind of tasks and move them to the tasks, and they are required to speak. But it is not efficient method, as for not everybody is free to speak. For example, most of students sometimes become a bit shy, especially in speaking in front of the audience, and they can't just reveal their ability here. And they may stand in tight corner, and they may just feel shy because they don't participate in the activities that are involved in the team, for example.
Yes.
As it is mostly directed to teamwork, where the teacher gives tasks for a team, and each of them should participate. And but it is what I like in the matter is no grammar rules at
Yes.
all. A teacher doesn't pay any kind of attention to grammar. That gives freedom for the students, where they are not corrected for each speech, for every kind of mistake that has been made by them, for example. Then they can feel free just speaking, where teachers doesn't interfere at all. And mistakes are okay.
Yes.
It is one of the best options where the student feels himself free. And the minuses is, of course, the coin has two sides. It has also drawback. So, and the drawback is it is not okay for formal way of speaking, where a student should obey a strict rule, such as word order, using grammar structure, its own place, where everyone should follow the grammar rule. Because they are sick and tired of grammar rules, and they don't want, nowadays students don't have desire to follow every kind of mistake, every kind of rules they should obey, and it gives them some kind of discomfort. For example. That's all.
Thank you very much. So we will continue.
Okay. I start with the method.
Yes.
I want to start with the advantages of this method, first of all. And with help of this method, for example, the students at the same time they can enhance their vocabulary and also different difficult grammatical structures. And they know how to write any kind of words, and they have also, for example, efficient and enough vocabulary in any topic. But also, for example, they can save the time. For example, especially for adults and also for example, high school students, it's so beneficial because, for example, at the same time, they know how they can, for example, acquire some academic knowledge, academic, for example, resources, and without, for example, wasting their time, some kind of activity, some kind of, for example, light tasks, or for example, some kind of, how to say, listening, for example, materials. They can just focus on their academic knowledge, and also, for example, they can, for example, enhance their writing skills, yes, and their reading skills because they have, for example, as I mentioned, more vocabulary in a topic, and but the topics of this method is, for example, sometimes this kind of learners have vocabulary, but they don't know how to produce this kind of vocabulary. For example, in speaking, in communication, also because, for example, they have no chance to listen native speaker's speech. That's why, for example, they cannot how to produce their skills. Also, for example, this kind of they can be perfect in spelling. They don't make any mistake in spelling, but they may make sometimes can face difficulties with their understanding native speaker's speech. This is listening and exactly speaking. Okay, if you want anything, you want to add?
Yes, and for disadvantages, so the main disadvantage of this approach is lack of communication because it's really important in this lesson. It's really important, mostly grammatical structure. So students may get bored because they not they don't have enough chance to produce their speech, to communicate, to engage to each other. So mostly it's teacher-centered approach. So in this time, mostly students will active, and students are passive. In this case, this is, I think, the main disadvantages.
Thank you. And your approach is
This is the direct message.
direct message. Yes.
As I have mentioned before, that it is the powerful and effective language, and we know that its strengths lie in its communicative use of the language, authentic language usage, and oral communication, and the effective use of the language. First, if I speak about the advantages of the direct message, especially it can directly relevant to real life situations. And when we use the target language, we especially focus on the language to the real life conversations, dialogues. And that's why it can be beneficial for the learners who have respect in speaking and who use the direct method. And the next one is it's suitable for all ages.
Yes.
Yes, we can use that just for with the children also this approach, and and it's also can improve the pronunciation of the language, and especially this is for the students who are learning the language as foreign language. And we also have several disadvantages of this method. For example, this cannot be suitable for all the learning styles. You know that in one class we have different students who have the various learning styles. That's why it can be somehow difficult for the students if we use a direct method. And also, can we say? And that's all.
Thank you very much. So, and our last task, I have a test to consolidate our today's topics. So, do you need time for preparation?
I guess no.
So, the first one, which method focuses mainly on grammar? Grammar translation method. Next one, which method uses real-life objects and visuals to teach vocabulary?
Actually, it is C and D.
C and D.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, others?
If it is real life objects, direct message.
Yes, it's direct method, yes. So, next one, which method is based on repetition, drills, and dialects? D1. Which method emphasizes fluency and interaction over accuracy? So, which method requires students to complete meaningful real-world tasks? Task-based. So, next task is a true-false question. So, grammar translation method develops strong speaking skills. It's false, yes. Direct method avoids translation, uses only the target language. It's true. So, audiolingual method is influenced by behaviorist theory.
No, it was direct.
So, communicative approach often uses role plays or problem-solving tasks.
Yeah.
Part. So, task-based learning doesn't require much preparation from the teacher. False. Yes. It requires preparation, planning. So, matching question. Next one. So, grammar translation method. Direct method. Fluency and motivation. Audiolingual. Speaking and listening skills. And the last one, communicative. So, we have also short answer questions. First one. So, which method is the most traditional and one in teaching foreign language? Grammar translation method. So, here one disadvantages of the audiolingual method. Weakness, disadvantage.
This is just
I've mentioned this.
this is one for all the students for the online styles.
Not everyone is
This is
good
not
at
for
listening.
everyone. Yes,
Not everyone.
for everyone.
Yes, but I have mentioned that it can be boring by repetition.
Yeah. Like preparing parrots.
Yes. So, what activity is often used in communicative approach? Yes.
Interaction.
So, why is task-based learning considered motivating for students?
Because it's
Teamwork.
Teamwork, interaction. Yes. So, and the last one. No, this is the answer of one.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So, thank you for your participation. That was the end of our lesson. Thank you very much.
Ah,